cracking, fam? It's your man Justin Woodward from The Mix, the host with the most, play me close like butter plays toast, Iggy. This is the Mix Summer Game Showcase, previously the Guerrilla Collective, but nothing has changed. We are still bringing that summer barbecue heat for the streets. I'm not alone in this event adventure. I'm here with my beautiful wife and game sommelier, Candace Woodward.
Hey Justin, and hey everybody. I'm Candace, and yes, we are firing up the grill to cook with the latest and greatest indie games and developers. And during our time together today, you'll discover a veritable smorgasbord of new releases to put on your radar and your wish list. I'm talking about hot upcoming games that will keep things popping between your cookouts and pool parties this summer and beyond.
That's right, grab your floaties, Candy. You know summer is on the sizzle and so are the devs. We're keeping it simple, lining up games in several categories that include world premieres, exclusives, and updates from some of our favorite developers and publishers.
And our friends at Valve hooked us up with a Steam event page, so make sure to open up Steam, follow the games on the show, and wishlist the ones that catch your eye. As a bonus, to show you some love for checking out the games, the developers on today's show have blessed us with Steam keys from games in their catalog. So when you see the following QR code, grab your phone, shoot your shot for a chance to get a free game.
Spiffy. Shoot your shot. This is just the start of our summer showcase. This Friday, we are taking over the rooftop of the Grammy Museum at LA Live for our in-person showcase, where we will have over 50 games to play. We have more sweet events planned in the upcoming months, including the Dope Indie Game Awards, the Fall Showcase, and a new show we will dig into shortly. Follow The Mix on your favorite social platform to get the scoop on everything we're up to, including new showcases. For more info, visit our website at MediaIndieExchange.com. We are happy to bring back the featured charity for the showcase with Experience Studios. This nonprofit provides diverse professional entrepreneurs in the video game industry opportunities to become successful and build self-sustaining businesses, achieved through accelerator programs and access to funding opportunities. Check out the Tiltify Streamlabs QR code for more information and to donate. Thank you to Twitch for working with us on this charitable cause.
Now, before we dig in, we have to thank our great sponsors who believe in the work we do here at The Mix. We really could not do any of this show without your support, so thank you so very much. And of course, we thank all of our featured dev teams who trust us to share their amazing projects with the world. It's your creativity and talent that truly make events like this possible.
Thank you so much. Kicking things off, we will start with some up-and-coming titles that will blow you away. The games in this group are the freshest of the fresh, the dopest of the dope, and you might even see some brand new projects you didn't know existed, and maybe even some world premieres. Didn't I tell you that The Mix always got your back? Because we do have your back. Keep your wish list locked and loaded, and let's hit play with no delay.
Roll the tape.
think of that vacation, the run-in at the motel, that one argument. It was always the same. It's been just an awful journey to get both of us here, hasn't it? Where are you, my love? Where are you, my love? You're going to ruin us both. Where are you, my love? But you'll come back.
Where the hell are you hiding?
You always do.
Now, the audience is thirsty for fun. Time to run. 'Cause now your denouement has already begun. That means you're done. We could both be pirates on the sea. You'll swap the deck and play a part for me. Mops galore, you'd better keep it clean. Watch out now, my little friend, 'cause Sharpsby's looking mean. I've had enough of you, so time to be my puppet on a string. I've had enough of you. Oh, dance, my little Muppet plaything.
Why does the sun go on shining?
The gaming industry isn't just big. It's a colossal $240 billion universe where millions log in, play, and interact daily. And we are going to revolutionize that universe forever with Raijin. Raijin is rewarding gamers for doing what they love most, playing video games. The most popular, most adopted, and most fun games. Raijin will integrate with every Steam account, opening the door to over 100 million gamers to join the Raijin ecosystem. And the best part is, Raijin will let you convert your Steam achievements into real-world rewards. It's time to reward gamers for gaming. Link, play, earn. Raijin.
Wow, Never End had me speechless. I didn't know I needed a game that combines minifigs with shuffleboard, but here we are.
This is why I love my job. Shout out to Raijin, which is a sick new platform that allows players to get rewards through their achievements when playing games and also benefits the developers as well. Sign up for that. Before we get to the next category, I want to tell y'all about a new online showcase we're putting together with the crew at Digital Banditos. It's called Indie Fan Fest, and it's not your typical showcase. This all-new event will have a special focus on Steam Next Fest and building up wish lists. One of the most important contributors to a game's success. The Media Indie Exchange is pumped about Indie Fan Fest, and we can't wait to reveal our plans. There will be more details soon, so get to liking and subscribing for all the updates.
Now post up because we're jumping into some sword swinging action. This category has vehicles, roguelites, Souls-likes, and the world's first Garden-vania.
Say that 5 times fast.
Scraps and waste. We felt so poor and useless.
The elusives are tiny creatures that live in our homes, hiding from us and borrowing whatever they need. To the elusives, humans are giants, slow and clumsy beings, but also dangerous threats that must be avoided. The raiders are the most daring elusives, always seeking adventure and treasure. They're quick and stealthy, using guard cloaks to keep them hidden and invisible to the eyes of humans and predators. Elusive is an adventure and exploration game with Metroidvania elements. The protagonist, Zoe, is a brave raider seeking adventure in the giant world of humans. Along your journey, you will meet other adventurous characters and merchants with whom you can build friendships. In Elusive, you'll explore every nook and cranny of an old haunted house, uncovering pathways and tunnels within the walls that will lead you to hidden treasures. Elusive combines exploration with resource and treasure gathering, crafting, and quests in a giant house interconnected by tunnels. Let's raid together.
The surface is no longer safe for humans. Mutated creatures and viruses force us to live in underground bunkers. V.E.D.A is training combat personnel like you to overcome and reclaim the surface. Through the simulation, you can safely learn all the skills needed for actual combat. Hello, I'm John Ju, the developer of V.E.D.A. Through this video, I would like to introduce V.E.D.A, a Souls-like training game. V.E.D.A provides a perfect simulation that can substitute for dangerous real-world environments. Through this simulation, you can systematically learn all the Souls-like combat techniques, dodging, parrying, and fatal attacks. Block enemy attacks with shields, break their stance with perfect timed parries, dodge attacks with quick rolls, and don't miss the opportunity to deliver critical hits. You can create your own combat style by combining various weapons, shields, and gear. Each piece of equipment has unique characteristics, making strategic choices crucial for victory. From basic straight swords to heavy axes, from small buckler shields to massive tower shields, every choice determines your combat style. After completing your training, you can challenge yourself in a more difficult roguelike mode. This extreme training begins to prepare you for real combat against mutated creatures. Being a simulation, there's no need to fear failure. You can experience new challenges and growth with each attempt. Failure will become another opportunity for learning. When you complete the simulation, you can challenge all the enemies you defeated with your honed combat skills, but a single mistake means starting over from the beginning. Furthermore, hidden areas and special challenges await you. If you can overcome the hacker's interference, special rewards will be given. Soon, you will be able to experience your first simulation. The Steam demo is expected to be released in August, with an official release planned for 2026. V.E.D.A will perfectly support your training. The future of humanity rests in your hands. Do not forget to wishlist.
I'm Zach, one half of the V.E.D.A cult, and we're making Nectarmancer, a highly acrobatic Garden-vania where you work for the Throne. The Throne is a mysterious entity that's dominated the world for centuries, exploiting the land and people for one thing: nectar. Nectar is everything: money, energy, fuel, power. And the Throne wants every last drop. But as the world's reserves run dry and the forest itself begins fighting back, the Throne has become desperate. So it's employed you, an expert in both sword and soil, to bring nectar to the Throne no matter what stands in your way. But melee alone won't be enough. A Nectarmancer can alter the very nature of their plants, using them as ammo or ammo factories, providing you with an extremely flexible loadout of projectile and soil-based support. Stay in good graces with the Throne, and you might just survive in the V.E.D.A cult's Nectarmancer.
Yo, Airframe Ultra is gaming at its peak. It was developed by Video Cult, the team behind Rain World, and published by Acapulco Games. So hype.
And did you see we snuck in Little Nemo, which looks gorgeous? Quick history lesson, that is based on a story that was written all the way back in 1905.
That is a long time ago, Candy. Yeah, I dug the Capcom version back in the day on the NES, so cool. We have to hit that pause button to give some love to Experience Studios, a Black-led organization that serves underrepresented communities in the game industry. The Mix enthusiastically supports their efforts through our contributions to their many important and inspiring events. In fact, mark your calendars for the next Black Voice in Gaming Showcase coming to a screen near you on Monday, June 9th at noon Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific, and is a part of the Summer Game Fest.
Now, slicing orcs in the face is cool and all, but sometimes you just want to spend a day crafting, farming, or cuddling with your beloved pet fire lizard. For those types of days, here's the category that'll feature farms, towers, and pets.
Let's get into it with some farms and towers and stuff.
V.E.D.A la navoda di mabomina navila tunali madua nalabu labu mola viva lena minabua lumida movalea mula nua meva minavi minabua avu aduaya modu.
They say I'm fading away. I need to head up that mountain. My home's up there.
Hello, I'm Taylor, one of the developers behind Spirit of the North 2. which is available on PC, PS5, and Xbox. In this short deep dive, I wanted to share how we approached the most challenging but most rewarding aspect of the sequel, rebuilding the feel of controlling a fox. In the first game, players told us the movement felt clunky, the collision was frustrating, and jumping wasn't intuitive. And honestly, we agreed. Piloting a quadruped is very difficult in video games, and players aren't quite used to it. And from a dev perspective, it's a much harder problem than it seems. So for Spirit of the North 2, we threw out the old system from our first title completely and started over. Most humanoid characters use a capsule collider. That works great when your limbs are symmetrical and your pivot point is in your torso. But with a fox, the capsule becomes oversized and the character rotates from the middle, making it feel like you're steering a shopping cart. We ended up doing something that usually is discouraged, dramatically shrinking the capsule and even letting the mesh stick out. This gave us a tight collision that allowed the fox to move through tight spaces and never bounce off nearby walls. The final movement model was inspired by a kite, where the head leads and the body trails. All the animations needed to be rebuilt to match. But in the end, it felt more natural, responsive, and fun. It took years of iteration, but the difference is something that you will definitely feel when you play. The other big issue to address was jumping. We wanted the precision of scripted jumps without the immersion-breaking ledge markings seen in other games. So we built what we call target jump system, and the targets are placed procedurally in real time. The system evaluates dozens, if not hundreds of factors and conditions in real time. It is easily the most complex system I have ever created, and also the most satisfying. But we didn't stop there. If you're sprinting, the procedural targets switch off. You get a more reckless, longer jump, perfect for covering distances fast in a huge open world. The balance between freeform movement and target-locked precision is what makes traversal in our game so fun and fox-like. That's it for now. There are many more improvements we made to the fox character, including animations, morphs, grooms, skins, abilities, and more. But for now, I hope this gives a sense of how seriously we take our player feedback in getting the movement right. We are grateful for the players who play our games and help guide our designs. We still have plenty to learn, but we're really proud of where our character has landed. Spirit of the North 2 is now available on PC, PS5, and Xbox X and S. Thanks for watching.
You're looking a little green there, Frog. You good?
This place is making me sick.
Oh, toughen up, Hop. It's good to have your world turned upside down every now and then.
What's up, guys? My name is Clinton Sparks, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Global Gaming League. You know, we as gamers know that gaming is the fastest growing form of entertainment in the world. Makes more money than the movie, music, and television industries combined, but yet it's still disconnected from mainstream pop culture and the streets. That's why I'm here today with V.E.D.A Exchange, the home of discovery and innovation in the gaming world, to get you guys familiar with the future of gaming. Welcome to the Global Gaming League.
Live from Las Vegas, introducing the Global Gaming League, a league of celebrity-owned teams playing both new games from Call of Duty and Valorant to retro games like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Tetris, and everything in between. A first-of-its-kind, multi-game title league where gaming, music, sports, fashion, and culture converge. This is not a traditional esports league. The GGL is a gaming entertainment league that combines the competitiveness of traditional sports leagues,
I gotta spin the chain.
theatrics and storylines like the WWE,
Fight me! You keep pressing A. Actually fight me.
I'm pressing Y.
and the fanfare and rivalry of the UFC.
No thrusting.
Attracting legions of new fans, real celebrities, real entertainment.
Soulja Boy, I win it. Why me crack it? Why me roll? Why me crack that Soulja Boy? That Superman? That why me?
Real money. Everybody games, so we built something for everybody, giving gamers around the world the chance to compete and build a real career as a gamer.
Your mama could even play if she got skills.
The Global Gaming League will connect cultures, build international bridges, uplift underserved communities, and close age gaps while making gaming a household name and the new pop culture phenomenon.
The Global Gaming League starts now.
We got hustled. These guys are pros. My 5-year-old is better than me at Tetris.
I am looking forward to the Tim update, and as always, Spirit of the North 2 looks beautiful and fantastic. Much love to the Global Gaming League for pushing things to new heights regarding innovation in gaming entertainment. Looking forward to partnering with them on the future and all of their endeavors.
Absolutely. Oh snap, Justin! It's key giveaway time!
Everybody!
Thank you to the generous donations of our participating developers throughout the show. Just scan the QR code on your screen to cop them freebies and follow V.E.D.A Exchange on all your socials to stay in the know. While I'm hitting you with the reminders, go visit the Mixed Summer Game Showcase event page on Steam to see all the titles we're featuring today and wishlist the ones that tickle your fancy. Our devs benefit from growing their wishlist numbers, so don't be shy. Cool? Cool.
Extra cool. Definitely the ones that tickle your fancy. Next, we will karate chop into the next segment, which features games from flying fists to fearsome bosses. This category has some titles that are straight crack. So let's rock into the next seg.
Got myself a shiny new chrome, wanna touch my skin, but this flesh not yours to hold. I won't phone police, cause pigs never did nothing for me I couldn't have done on my own. Oh, peace. Dance with the beast in my mind. A rough sleep intertwined with the sheets. A tough beat, but I'ma find my release. Don't trigger warning that's gonna squeeze. Where's God? He must have skipped my house when joy was to be down. But every bar at this prison is getting chiseled down. Like no doubt, cause I know the spot the criminal now. Repeat the pattern of the quilt. His cadaver spilled milk. Oh well, see rose petals wilt. And you do the same too. If you share the same view, I'll make sure there's room for two, cause my aim's true.
This is a style for a title that sounds silly, but nothing kill you if you don't keep that on swivel. Keep the name and kiss my grits, meet its brittle. Metro North as they smash, keep it early. Billy Cart hold his favorite game on Oakley. X-Men head to head with Mikey, now you know me. Soul in the hole, used to be Shaheed. Old aliens, Obi-Wan and only.
Hi gang, I'm Nanda Gamecom, the game director of Troublemaker 2 Beyond Dream. This is an open-world action comedy game and a direct sequel to the first Troublemaker, taking place 3 years after the event of the original game. In this sequel, we're diving deep into the themes of dreams and drugs, two of the biggest inner battles we often face as we grow from teenagers into young adults. We now have two main protagonists, Woody the Cipta Weata Last Champion, returning main character from the first game, and Jordan Santoso, the pianist from the band Beyond Dream. The contrast in their fighting style and the story perspective will create a much more intense and emotional narrative, as we witness their journey through struggles chasing their dreams. Unlike the first Troublemaker, which was limited to high school, this time you are free to explore South Jayakarta, a city inspired by a place across Indonesia, including Jakarta and my hometown, Pacitan City. And yes, Troublemaker 2 is our first ever open world game, following the Troublemaker 1, which was our debut action game. In this city, you discover tons of unique side stories, reflecting the real voice and daily life of South Jayakarta people. Wacky and creative minigames hidden in unexpected corners. And of course, since Beyond Dream is now part of the character roster, you can visit their studio, jam with the band, and play original songs from the game. As a small indie developer from Indonesia, we proud to bring an open world experience set in a world that feels truly local and authentic. Troublemaker 2 Beyond Dream is launching in Q3 2025 on Steam, so don't forget to visit the game and follow us, Gamecom team, on all of social media platforms. Thank you for watching and stay tuned, stay woo.
Hello, I am Ramon Nafria from Language Studio and I want to present you Army Moves Overdrive. Army Moves Overdrive is a reimagination of Army Moves as if it was developed these days. And what is Army Moves? Army Moves is a game from 1986 for several microcomputers: ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64, Commodore Amiga, Atari ST, MSX, and even some of the oldest PCs with the CGA graphic cards and this type of things. It began a series of games that include Navy Moves, Arctic Moves, and more recently, and not official, Space Moves. It is one of the best sellers of what is called the golden age of Spanish video games development. It will be an action game with some twists in its mechanic, like stealth, use of vehicles, and the best slap movement in the history of video games. We want to release Army Moves Overdrive to all modern devices, if nothing strange happens, next year. We expect you to enjoy it.
Army Move Overdrive. Dunwich.
Games disappear, support ends, memories fade. But not here. At GOG, we believe that if you buy a game, it should be yours forever. That's why, back in November, we launched the GOG Preservation Program, a promise that your games will keep working even if they're delisted or no longer officially supported. 6 months in, we've already added nearly 60 titles to the program. Here are some of the best you can play right now. What's coming next? You'll want to stick around.
Okay, where are my old schoolers at? One of those games gave me serious Sega Soccer Slam vibes for real. Definitely can't wait to give that one a spin. Also, shout out to GOG for keeping it thorough with their mission in keeping games alive.
Now we're gonna keep things going with some creepy horror, comedy horror, FPS games, and action. Let's go.
I have to save them all. Even when the city resists, with everything it has. Sometimes it feels like everything is in my hands, even time. If my patient dies today, I saved them yesterday. At first, it seems to be working, but I can't save everyone with my own hands. The city is dying from others' mistakes. And I try to fix them. I take control, and the city stops resisting. Everything becomes possible. A vaccine, the immortal man, order, the Inquisitor and the army. An impossible structure, the plague made flesh. This can't just be a dream.
So, effectively, you became the head of an emergency task force, using any means to fight the plague. Tell me, Dankovsky, Before and after, were you always aware of the consequences of your actions?
Hey everyone, I am Max and I am Isla Creative Director at Pulsatrix Studios. And I am here to introduce our game to you guys. In Isla, you will play as Samuel, a beta tester responsible for testing a range of new technologies in the year 2035. One day, you receive a new VR dev kit with an inbuilt artificial intelligence promising of being capable of developing horror experiences in real time based on the user's neural activities and active feedback. But the resources it uses to create the most immersive experience possible are the same weapon which will imprison Samuel. As virtuality merges with reality, you must use everything in your power to free yourself from this tailor-made psychological torture device as the lines blur between what's real and what isn't. You will have to face your innermost terrors in a true survival horror filled with challenging enigmas, an oppressive and intense atmosphere, and visceral combat against grotesque abominations. Isla is a homage to classic games of the genre, such as Resident Evil and Silent Hill, through both mechanics and thematic resonance. In some of the levels, you will be through the paces of true psychological horror, and in others, survival will be the key to get through. Discover the truth behind Isla, but be careful. Some of your choices that you make will affect the ending that you get. Arm yourself with a great arsenal when the task ahead demands it. Do what you must to survive. We hope you enjoyed the Speak into Isla. Please consider wish listing on Steam as it really helps us out. Thank you.
Gee, fellas, this looks like a job for the Toxic Crusaders! It's cleanup time!
How dare you hit my beautiful little angel! Mom!
Maybe next time.
I'll handle this!
I expected better from our nation's future burger flippers.
Shove it, old man! We're the American Revolution!
One bite of that processed slop and the good people of Tromaville will be transformed into a ravenous horde of drooling monstrosities.
Say, Toxie, did our nation's educational system always include rampaging student gangs and a giant radioactive squirrel?
End of the line, Toxic Crusaders! Boomstick for an arm, chain gun fingertips, and the might of all storms in your fists. With this kind of power, no one can stand in your way.
Stainless HQ, over. This is Detective Stanley Steel Press. I'll be docking at Orca Isle at approximately 1300 hours. Over. He's part man, part shotgun. This Captain Wayne guy is the biggest menace these waters have ever seen. Once he has his sights on something, he'll stop at nothing to get it. And all that stand in his way are reduced to mist. There's no army nor fleet that can stop his fury. What? Dangerous? Oh, no, sir. You've got Detective Stanley Steel Press on the job. Of course I can take him.
You talk a lot of big game there, don't you? But if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. Come and get me, copper. Captain Wayne's Vacation Desperation. Wishlist now on Steam. Well, go on already. What are you still doing here, man?
Pathologic looks very thrilling and super atmospheric. In contrast, Captain Wayne is super over the top and fast paced. I love that team. They are so cool.
They are very cool. All right, game fans, we are cruising to the finish line. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far, and thank you for sticking around for this last set of games. Up next, we are jumping into some deck building games, a genre that took the indie world by storm a few years back. And the genre's popularity doesn't seem to be letting up as the next collection of games makes clear.
We also have a few RPGs bringing that classic old school feel and JRPG flavor. Plus, for the dice rolling fans, we got a game that really captures the freedom of playing a classic tabletop adventure. Are you excited yet? But without further ado, let's check out some Dungeons, Dragons, and deck building games.
Hey, I'm Christopher Bodegård, the developer of Esoteric Ebb. In Esoteric Ebb, you are the cleric, a glorified civil servant in a fantasy metropolis on the brink of its first ever election. The events of Ebb start when you're sent to investigate a magical incident, an explosion and a tea shop in your city of Norvik. Depending on how high or low you make the stats, your experience will radically differ with each playthrough. Your political alignment, how you approach a quest, and even your dialogue choices are all affected by your ability scores. The stats will chime in and nudge you in directions that align with their personalities, not always to your benefit. Ebb is all about being the player at the table, making the most interesting decisions, and finding your own unique solutions. Whenever a challenge appears, a 20-sided die will be rolled. Then you add or subtract any modifiers to reach that final number. If you find a challenge you couldn't possibly succeed at, there are always ways to make your life easier. Explore the branching dialogues, gather information from around the city, or wield mighty spells to improve your chances. Every little choice matters and will affect how the cleric navigates sticky situations. Don't forget to wishlist Esoteric Ebb on Steam for updates on our road to launch. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ryan Nallier, Studio Director for Fangamer and one of the developers of the new version of Off. Off is a 2008 indie RPG that went on to inspire games such as One Shot and Undertale. Fangamer is working with the original creator Mortis Ghost to provide an updated version for modern platforms. Let's take a look at the all-new combat system.
The Malls of Zone 2 are a perfect way to show off our new combat system. Going straight in the battle, we'll have the batter do a basic attack, and Alpha will do a competence from the competence menu. In this case, we'll choose Saturated String for additional damage. Omega will also do a basic attack. But if you notice, Omega is charging up. If you look at its meter in the bottom right, it is actually going twice as fast and is spiking up. This means that it's going to do a critical hit in the next turn. That way, we can choose a big competence to ensure that we purify the enemy. We'll go through and do a Saturated String and a basic attack. And if you notice, the batter also is spiking up, but it got confused. Not all critical hits are to your advantage. We'll have to be able to quickly dispatch the enemy if we want to make sure that we don't get any additional damage. The song you are listening to, by the way, has been created by James Roach, one of the musicians of our all-new soundtrack. We're going to go up against the same pair of enemy in the exact same way. We're going to start with an attack, a Saturated String, and then follow up with another basic attack. However, one of the enemies is going to charge a critical hit. We're going to change our tactics and see if we can try and take down that enemy before the critical hit has a chance to be able to hit us. However, it looks like we're too late, and we took a massive hit and also caused confusion as well. This isn't good, but we can be able to at least get our revenge on that enemy. Oh no, it looks like the batter also took confusion, and now the other enemy is charging a critical hit against you. You can easily see how the critical hit system can be beneficial to you or work against you. You can also use the critical hit system on items as well, so that you can get a critical heal off of an item. Thankfully, at the end of the mall we have something to look forward to. An advertisement for cat food. For returning players, we also have 6 all-new bosses designed by the original creator Mortis Ghost. They take full advantage of the systems you saw today. Does this area look familiar?
In addition to James Roach, we also have all new music by Morosk, composer of Stray, Exaheva, Banshee Beat, one of the composers for Omori, Night Margin, one of the creators of One Shot, and Toby Fox, creator of Undertale and Deltarune. Off will be coming out sometime later this year on Nintendo Switch and Steam. Thank you very much for watching.
Welcome, pilot. This is your pre-flight safety briefing. Please remain seated while we absolutely cook.
This game is so... I'm gonna say goofy. There's so many crazy combos you can pull off in it. I love the bomb mix. It just feels so satisfying.
I'm just in love with it. You need to check this one out. If you're not satisfied, I don't know how to satisfy you.
This is one of the coolest games I ever played. Because I'm a bomb.
I don't think this boss was ready for me and my bomb-nanigans.
Hush now, Olvi. Close your eyes. Dream beneath the darkened skies. My little one, the night has come. The wind still hums its silent song. I follow your steps through ash and clay. Every step leads me astray. With trembling hands, I search, I yearn, yet what has passed cannot return. The shadows rise and twist your voice. I cut them down without remorse. The stars above beheld my cry, but only echoed back the sky. I call upon fire to ignite my wrath. I call upon the spirits to light my path. Speak to me, love. Let me hear your breath. And never again your howl of death.
I love seeing that update for Nocturne. It is such a slick title, and I am definitely gonna add it to my wish list. Now make sure you go to the Steam event page and wish list your favorites from the last segment, as well as all others from today's show.
Wow, Candy, I cannot believe it's over already. Unfortunately, even the best indie game showcases eventually come to an end. Remember to visit the Mixed Summer Showcase event page on Steam, where all our featured titles can be found. You may learn you missed something awesome. Wishlist now and live your life free of regrets later. Once again, thanks to all the devs who participated in today's showcase. We can't wait to get our hands on your handiwork. And another mighty muchos gracias to our sponsors, Exola, Ryzen, Acapulco Games, HeroCraft, Hype Train Digital, Indie.io, Joystick Ventures, Neon Doctrine, New Blood, Noodle Cake, Retroware, Silver Lining, Top Hat, Tripwire, XD Network Inc., GOG, ID and Xbox, and the Global Gaming League, Raw Fury. And Fully Illustrated, y'all are the best of the best. Don't worry, folks, the mix will return sooner with another showcase filled to the brim with a new assortment of astonishing indie games. While you're waiting, be sure to follow us so you don't miss any important announcements or upcoming events. The mix is always cooking, so keep your socials on point to stay in the loop.
And remember to mark your calendars for the next Black Voices in Gaming Showcase coming Monday, June 9th at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Special thanks are due to the team at The Mix that puts all of our events together with speed, skill, and smarts. Y'all make this look easy. Thanks again, y'all. This is Justin Woodward, your host and co-founder of The Mix, signing off.
And I'm Candace Woodward. Thanks again for having me, Justin. I cannot wait to the next one.
We will see you soon. Peace. I can't believe that I just bounced, put on my soft clothes, grabbed a controller to play games without saying that there is a bomb that's gonna drop on Saturday, June 7th with a plethora of indie game showcases. You guys gotta check it out. Wholesome Direct, Women-Led Games, Latin American Game Showcase, Southeast Asian Game Showcase, Green Games, Frosty Fest Games. That is all in one day, ladies and gentlemen. And on Monday, June 9th, Black Voice in Gaming. Turn it on and tune in for some awesome stuff. Peace.